Jags! On today's episode, we will see some of the awesome street artists of Athens, do a recap of Fine Arts Night, see what the one-act play was about, and learn more about the Athlete of the Week, Kiyonnice Smith.
Stay tuned for the sports segment featuring wrestling, basketball, and a recap of the football playoff. My name is Colin Frick.
And my name is Olivia Duver.
And this is WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.
Athens is home to many amazing street artists. Elena Gorshanen went downtown to find out about what it takes to be a street artist.
Downtown Athens is a diverse part of our community, consisting of many shops, events, entrepreneurs, and artists, more specifically street artists. These artists gather on corners and showcase their talents. I went out and met Bret, a local street guitarist, and asked a little bit about street performing.
You have to be ready for people to interact with you in different ways, and sometimes you are ready for that, sometimes you're not. You can go many places and you'll see all kinds of really cool stuff and meet people. But Athens, I found out, just like a lot of people told me before I ever really traveled a lot, was that it has its thing, and you can't really identify it. It's just more of a feeling. You really need to go with your mood. Even if you need things, you still need to go with your mood, because the desperation part hinders you. And so you have to go when you're like, okay, I've got some energy, you got to do it. That's the best time to do it. It did start out of necessity originally, but that's been the biggest blessing, was that I was like anybody else. I just would always just seek a job, work, do the thing. Well, when I was sort of forced out of that comfort zone many years ago and had to really sort of fend for myself a little bit, I started learning that I could be supported through it. I've tried to break down the psychology side of it all. It's an interesting thing, because you just don't know what's going to make someone do what you need, like on the finance, you don't know what's going to. So that's why you have to almost play for just do it. You have to do it, because if you have the anxiety part in there, again, it's a hindrance. And so, but it's still a rough dichotomy, because you do know you have your needs, and so it's that dichotomy, But interesting things happen, like this interview. You helped me, And so it's interesting how things. So I just say trust, and roll with it, and that roll with it.
Whoa, that seems like a really cool job. Yesterday, Fine Arts Night took place. Olivia Duver went to watch the show.
The event you've seen advertised around the school has finally happened. It took place last night in the theater from 6:30 to 8. What Fine Arts Night is a showcase for the fine arts programs at Cedar, and each art discipline had a role in the show. Each discipline has put in a similar amount of work in different ways to prepare.
We're doing so much at the same time in choir. We're preparing for concerts way in the future, and this one as well. So we stay pretty busy. It is quite a bit of preparation, though. They often have to go home and practice as well. So it takes a lot of dedication.
We've done a lot of rehearsal and learning parts, making sure that everybody understands how to get on and off stage, what props, what costumes we're going to use. So a lot of preparation, not just in rehearsal, but also making sure we have all aspects of the show ready to go.
According to drama student Oliver Medina, who is also a choir member, preparing seemed to be one of the most difficult parts of Fine Arts Night.
The most challenging part, I would say, is just doing rehearsal and having everybody be there to, actually prepare for the concert and stuff.
The fact that there were many students like Oliver performing more than once during Fine Arts Night was something that many people thought was awesome.
We generally have concerts, individual concerts throughout the year where we are just celebrating or showcasing one aspect of the arts. But when we do a showcase, it not only shows how well the students work together and how well the faculty works together, but it also shows that there are students who are great in the band, but then are also in the one-act play. And you might not have known that that student could actually play an instrument and act. You might not have known that you have a student that can dance and also sing. So it's really wonderful for everybody to come together and celebrate the arts.
The choirs opened the show with one song each. The beginning/intermediate choir sang Sia Hamba.
Sia Hamba kukeneni kwenkos, Sia Hamba kukeneni kwenkos, Sia Hamba kukeneni kwenkos, Sia Hamba kukeneni kwenkos, Sia Hamba.
The advanced choir sang Ezekiel Saw the Wheel.
Ezekiel saw the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel, way in the middle of the air.
The dance company went next, dancing to Nobody Greater.
Couldn't find one to compare to your grace, your love, your mercy. Nobody greater than you.
They continued to perform 2 more times throughout the show, with choreography to the songs Human,
I am flesh, bones, I am skin, soul,
and Twice. Afterwards, the drama program performed scenes from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Of young Pyramus and of his love Thisbe, a very tragical death.
Where is my love? 1, 2, 3, roar!
After drama, Cedar Shoals alumni Tommy Valentine came and spoke during intermission about the importance of fine arts.
We really want you to understand how important it is that you support the Performing Arts Department and program here at Cedar Shoals High School.
After the intermission, chamber orchestra played 2 pieces, Theme from Canon in D and the 5th Brandenburg Concerto by Bach. Finally, to close the show, the wind ensemble played a piece called Novo Legno. Outside the theater, in the lobby, there were displays of visual art themed around Hispanic Heritage Month. There were also Amade bark paintings, as well as some self-portraits. If you didn't attend Fine Arts Night, it seems like you really missed out.
A few weeks ago, football player Kiyonnice Smith was named the Online Athens Athlete of the Week. Jake Gunterman and Solomon Jones reported on Kiyonnice's greatness.
Kiyonnice Smith, the starting quarterback for Cedar Shoals, recently won Athlete of the Week for his outstanding performance against Johnson Gainesville, in which the Jaguars took a 41-18 victory. We met with Kiyonnice, as well as some of his advisors, to get an insight of the young student athlete.
I've been playing football since I was 8 years old. I played Little League from there on.
How did you feel when you were named Athlete of the Week?
It felt pretty good, humbling, but I honestly think I didn't deserve it. I know I have a couple more teammates who really should have got that award.
Kiyonnice is a very charismatic person with a ton of friends, and when he walks into a room, people want to get to know him. The best part about Cook is he thinks about social issues on a deeper level, so he's very aware of things that are going on within our school, issues that kids are facing, and he's very creative in thinking of solutions on how to handle them.
How does Kiyonnice lead by example?
Cook is, he's a quiet person when there's work to be done, and I think sometimes that's shocking to people how quiet he can be, and also how I don't know if you've noticed, but he eats lunch usually either with him and his girlfriend or pretty much alone, and despite all of that, he has a ton of friends, and I think that's what sets him apart. He doesn't really feel the need to be seen or heard. He's not very loud, but he has a lot of friends because he's a leader, and he relates to people really well on a one-on-one basis.
I met him last April, and from where he's come from last April until the first week of the playoffs has been a complete, total quarterback. You know, when I first met him, he was learning the position, but now he's a take charge guy. He knows the offense inside and out and is able to put us in good situations when we need it. I think it comes down to game day when it's time, when the lights come on. You know that you're going to get his everything that goes along with leadership and being a great teammate and trying to keep everybody's spirits up, whether we're doing great or whether we may be behind a little bit. So just his overall attitude is what I'd love to spread it to the rest of the team.
Last weekend, Drama did a performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Dominic Bielli and I went to see it.
Last week, the drama department performed A Midsummer Night's Dream, and we found out more about the hard work they put into the production.
We started on Midsummer Night's Dream close to the beginning of the school year. I'd say within a few weeks in, we were familiarizing ourselves with the play and deciding that this was the best choice for us for our fall production. I believe strongly in student leadership. I believe that's what an educational institution should be doing, is allowing the students to take the lead and drive any kind of project, or in this case performance, as much as possible. Honestly, I don't think we would be able to put on a play that requires as much as this play requires without students taking leadership. I've had a few seniors and juniors who have really stepped up and taken the lead on this. Specifically, HAVIVAH Saltz has been the student director for this show, and she's done a tremendous job and taken on a huge burden by carrying the directorial leadership of the production.
I've been doing theater productions since I came here, and I plan to keep doing them until I graduate. I am the student director for the play, and of course I help with tech, but everyone does. It's a really big responsibility. MILSAP very much lets you take on however much you want to, so some student directors only block a few scenes, some do everything. I've pretty much been blocking almost everything. I've been directing almost everything, so it's a lot to be in charge of, but it's really rewarding.
A Midsummer Night's Dream is actually the most popular play to produce at the high school level of all time, ever. Every year it is the #1 play that high schools produce. And the reason I believe is because of all the Shakespeare plays, it's the most accessible. It's light, it's fun, it's easy to follow. It lends itself very well to actors who haven't had a lot of experience. And also the action itself speaks for itself, so even if you have a little bit of trouble with the prose, with the Shakespearean speak as we like to say, it's very easy to figure out what's going on in the plot, and it's fun. It's a truly, truly fun play.
How would you describe the experience of putting together this performance all together?
It's been pretty fun. It was a little hectic around one act competition, because it was very sudden and we didn't have enough time to prepare, but I think that everyone's worked really hard and it's all really come together in a way that I didn't expect it to, which is nice.
It can be stressful, particularly the week before the show, but I think it's really fun to get to know your characters and figure out like what's best for portraying your characters on stage, and just working with like other people and making friends, I guess.
But what is your character in the play?
My character is Puck, and he's sort of like the lead fairy aside from the king and queen. He's really really mischievous. You don't really know what he's plotting, and even though he's supposed to be loyal to Oberon, he really kind of does his own thing, and he likes to pull pranks and stuff.
Building the set is my favorite part of plays and performances because it's really what ties the entire thing together. Specifically, I've worked on lighting as well as costumes. I've helped put together fairy costumes for people as well as building Titania's bed. That was what I mainly worked on.
What types of things do techies do for the performance?
Well, mostly I put together costumes and we make the set. So for example, Titania's bed was completely made by the tech. They stapled the burlap on as well as got the lights together to actually work whenever we tried to turn them on. We also put together black lights, fairy lights all around, and we are also currently stapling big pieces of fabric onto the top of the stage so it has a swoosh.
I mean, if you weren't sure about whether or not you wanted to go see it, it's under an hour. It wouldn't like waste that much time, and you know, everyone has worked really hard for it, and so I think if like you have a friend in it, you should definitely go see it and see their hard work.
Now for your sports news.
The Cedar Shoals wrestling team has started their practices. They have high hopes for the rest of the season. A few senior players and a coach gave us an idea on what they're planning to do in the season.
The thing I enjoy most, I would say, is about the level of competition. It really gives student athletes a lot of sense of self-confidence because it's a one-on-one sport and you're on the mat going against another opponent, and it kind of really teaches you toughness and really gives you a lot of self-confidence to know that you went out there and whatever mat happened was because of you and you alone. So it gives students a lot of confidence and self-power in the sport of wrestling. My expectations going this season, our expectations are really up from last year. We have several wrestlers I expect to compete on the sectional and on the state level going into this year. So I definitely expect our season to go all the way until the state finals this year, definitely. We'll be taking in new wrestlers. We have a lot of first-time wrestlers, which is great, so we have a good group of those guys. We'll be taking wrestlers all the way up until next Thursday. So actually, it'll probably be the Thursday after this is going to air on Advisement. So we're taking guys all until the Thursday before Thanksgiving break. We encourage anybody to come out, and if you just want to watch to see if you like this sport, but just come check us out. We're in the wrestling room, which is located right in the old gym. Right as soon as you turn to the old gym, you turn to your right. There's a door, there's a pond. That's our wrestling room in there. So anybody who wants to come out, like I said, that Thursday before we go into Thanksgiving break, we definitely love to have anybody out who wants to try out.
Expectations going into the season this year, well, really ain't got too many expectations. Just hope everyone does well. And number one goal is, of course, make it to state. I just like the energy you get from everyone who participates in the sport. Everybody's such a good sport. Like, you win, lose, you always gonna have somebody there who's gonna like shake your hand after the match and all that. Not really too much trash talk. I cleaned up a lot of my moves. I got in a better shape, and just all in all, just became healthier. We do chain wrestling drills, shot drills, we do a lot of running, we do a lot of live wrestling, and we just work on the fundamentals.
My expectations are having a good year, a big team, and winning a couple matches. I plan on helping my team get to state, and I hope that we can prosper in this wrestling season. The biggest challenge would be getting to state, because there are a lot of people that you have to beat and a lot of schools that we'd have to defeat altogether. But I think this year we have a good shot. Over the preseason, done a lot of bodyweight stuff to help improve just my overall strength. We're probably going to start lifting weights during the season. We've also been doing a lot of running to increase our stamina, so that should improve our performance. We do drills, so we drill through moves and takedowns, setups for the takedowns. We run at the beginning of practice to get warmed up. We also go live, so we'll live wrestle a little bit to just get the feeling for being in a real match.
Cedar Shoals football team has concluded their season. Coach Riles gave us some insight on how they made the playoffs. The Cedar Shoals Jaguars faced the number 1 seeded Rome Wolves in the first round of the playoffs. After Rome scored the first touchdown of the game, Cedar responded with a 28-yard fake punt that kept the drive alive and led to a touchdown. Rome continued to score in the first half, scoring 3 more touchdowns, while Cedar Shoals was able to get 2 field goals from senior Mateo Castillo, making the halftime score 28-13. In the second half, the top-ranked Wolves continued to dominate on both offense and defense. The Jaguars fought hard in their first playoff game in 9 years, but weren't able to finish off with a win, with a final score of 63-13 to the Rome Wolves.
Well, we played decent in spurts. Obviously didn't play well enough to win the game, but saw some good things. Saw a lot of things we need to work on. But when you're playing a good team like Rome and in their place, in their house, you got to play almost perfect. We made progress. We still got a long ways to go. As far as continuation of sustaining that effort throughout the whole 4 quarters. But we did make some progress, and hopefully we'll continue to get growing. Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to close out this season right now. I haven't really thought about it. Trying to top all loose ends. I know we got a good nucleus coming back, so I'm looking forward to them maybe showing some leadership and showing the way we do things. Well, I'm happy for them, I'm happy for the community. I know it's been a while. It's just a stepping stone towards where we want to be. So it's good, but it's not what we want. We don't want to have a habit of getting out in the first round. We want to continue to move on every year.
Thanks, guys.
Anyway, that seems to be all for today.
Check your email for the rest of the announcements. My name is Colin Frick.
And my name is Olivia Duver.
And this has been WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.